What's up, people? Welcome to the new year and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. Hope you all had a great holiday season with friends and family. New year, same goals. In my last video, I told you that 2022 will be all about scaling the portfolio, and the Wonderland DAO opportunity I'll be discussing today is aimed at doing just that. This will be a two-part video. In part one, I'll focus on what Wonderland is at a high level, my perspective on the risk versus reward. I'll take you through a quick walkthrough of the website dashboard and close out with the steps you'll need to complete to get set up before actually buying and staking the Time token. In part two, I'll take you through a detailed step-by-step for buying and staking Time. If you're confused, that's okay. It'll all make sense by the end of this video. I'd recommend watching all the way through so you don't miss out on any pertinent information I'll be covering. Drop the video an early like if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button. Those are two easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. All right, let's get into it. So let's start with the fact that I am not a financial advisor for those of you who are new here, and whether you decide to get into this project is solely up to you. That said, this is an opportunity worth highlighting, especially if you're looking for a way to scale up your own portfolio. Everything up until now on this channel can be compared to driving at about 5 to 10 miles an hour above the speed limit. This, on the other end, would be comparable to doing 100 miles an hour in a 35 miles an hour zone. So keep that in mind. Well then, what is Wonderland? It's a DeFi 2.0 DAO, and DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. The reason why this is worth your consideration is because of this right here. And no, your eyes are not deceiving you. The APY is currently truly this high. I would highly recommend taking a moment to read through all of the documentation so you have a full picture before making a decision to invest. Think of my video only as the executive summary. And so at high level, Wonderland is intended to be a decentralized reserve currency protocol available on the Avalanche network. The documentation states that it is the first of its kind, but that's only true in the context of the Avalanche network. The Olympus DAO protocol launched on Ethereum is actually the first ever reserve currency protocol that Wonderland and many others are based on. And we know that the concept works, and that's thanks to Olympus. The index figure that you see here means that if you had bought one OHM token when Olympus launched 9 months ago, you would now have 57 of them, or just over 57. So in other words, your initial $513 investment would now be worth just under $17,000, which is just insane. But we'll get into how it all works in a moment. Back to Wonderland. Time is the name of the currency issued by the Wonderland protocol. An important distinction is that this token is not a stable coin. Stable coins are pegged to the dollar and will always retain a $1 value, whereas Time is backed by other decentralized assets stored in the Wonderland treasury. The eye-popping high APY is achievable because the interest on your staked investment is earned and compounded in 8-hour intervals or epoch, at which point rebase occurs and the reward rate gets adjusted. Another way to think about it at the most basic level is that with Wonderland, you earn 2% every day on your staked investment. The key here is that this isn't linear growth, but rather exponential growth thanks to the compounding effect. So again, to put things into perspective, a roughly $1,000 investment today will return about $1,715 after 30 days. At the 6 months mark, you'll be at $25,000. And at the 1 year mark, that would be $690,000, which again sounds ridiculously insane and also assumes that all variables remain unchanged. So there has to be a catch, right? Well, not so much of a catch, but you also can't drive above the speed limit without taking on additional risk. So here are the most notable ones to be aware of. First off, the protocol is only 4 months old. It was launched in September of last year with a price of $633 per Time token. It shot up and went to the moon, hitting over $9,000 before settling at a current price of $3,000 to $4,000 for the trading range. So pretty volatile history to date. Number two is the protocol is only 4 months old again. There is no track record of it returning this high of an APY for a full year. That said, it has been pretty consistent so far. Third, and probably the biggest risk here in my opinion, is that unlike the Olympus protocol, the smart contract for Wonderland has not yet been third-party audited since it launched on the Avalanche network. The implication here is that it could be prone to attacks or worse, a rug pull where you as an investor could lose all of your money. Now, that last one is unlikely given my personal research, but not impossible until the audit is complete. Understanding these risks before putting any money in is key. And if you're wondering why I'm covering Wonderland instead of the safer Olympus DAO, the answer is simple. The Olympus smart contract is currently being migrated to a more optimized version, and getting in mid-migration isn't the most ideal in my opinion. Also, because it is on the Ethereum network, the gas fees to get set up are significantly higher. We're talking hundreds of dollars versus less than $10 with Wonderland on Avalanche. By the way, those high fees are the reason why the Olympus smart contract was replicated on other network chains like Polygon, Binance, and Avalanche now. Last but not least, Olympus has been largely de-risked and therefore no longer needs to pay out ridiculously high APY. All in all, if you only have a small amount to invest, Wonderland will generate a much higher return on investment. And that's because Wonderland is still currently in its growth or investor acquisition phase. The protocol is designed to pay out these extremely high rewards to incentivize and offset the risk that early adopters are taking on. As it currently stands, the DAO relies heavily on investors to deposit liquidity into the protocol via staking or bond purchases, and that's to bolster the treasury balance. As this treasury balance grows, part of it is used to purchase other digital assets, like Ethereum, for example. Those assets are then held in the treasury and help provide an intrinsic minimum backing value for each time token that basically acts like a floor that a time token value cannot fall under. And so it's essentially the same concept as utilizing the gold standard for backing real-world currency when it was still in effect. But instead of gold reserves backing up the time token, it's other digital assets. Now, we've covered the risk as I see them, but remember, investing is all about risk mitigation in order to generate future returns, right? And so these are the reasons why I believe that the potential reward here is well worth the risk. And as it stands, price seems to have found support around $3,000 since the drop from the all-time high. The current price is just over a 1x premium over the backed value of $1,600, call it. And at the current APY rate, let's say that you bought one time token today and then the price fell the next day to the backed value, you'd close the gap from the price depreciation and be ahead after just 2 months, thanks to the rebase reward. And finally, Wonderland has submitted the protocol contract for third-party audit via Paladin. And that was a couple of months post-protocol launch, so certification should drop in early 2022. The team behind the protocol is actually pretty active on their Discord as well, so those are all good signs. In other words, those still invested in the protocol after the extreme volatility swings at this point believe in the long-term vision for creating a true decentralized reserve currency and will more than likely see it through. That should provide some relative level of price stability in a trading window of plus to minus $1,000 from current levels. And so this relative stability is what we want. It's not so much about the price of the time token when you buy in, but rather the ability to accumulate as much reward through the rebase as you can. You can then be opportunistic on when to take some profit. The longer you stay in, the more you can benefit from the compounding effect. So something to think about as you devise your own strategy if you incorporate Wonderland. Last, but certainly not least, is the transparency that the protocol provides via its dashboard. The provided information is refreshed in real time. Price is just that, the live price. TVL, or total value locked, which represents the sum of all assets deposited into the protocol, earning rewards, interest, including new tokens issued. Current index shows you again how much one time token has appreciated since launch, thanks to the rebase rewards. Backing per time lets you know in real time how low the price per token could technically fall. Market cap, treasury balance, and APY are self-explanatory, and runway represents how many days the protocol can theoretically sustain paying out the current APY if all variables remain unchanged. That said, it's more reasonable to expect that APY is likely to be cut in half by summer if bootstrapping is successful and the protocol gains traction as the Avalanche network reserve currency. Again, Olympus DAO has been around for 9 months now and does provide a fairly good blueprint for what can be reasonably expected. I'll cover how to stake Olympus in a separate video once the migration is complete. If you understand how Wonderland works, then you understand how Olympus works and vice versa. The innovative thing here that makes DeFi 2.0 protocols so appealing and better all around than simply staking Polkadot, for example, is this. The more people are staking, the lower the APY rate goes, but price per token goes higher due to the lower available supply. Conversely, a lower amount of stake time tokens means that price drops, but APY goes higher to compensate. And so you basically can't lose as long as a DAO is operational and if you approach this with a mid to long-term mentality. Case in point, the price of Olympus token has lost a little over 40% of its value, but the rebase rewards have more than made up for that. Now, assuming all this sounds good and you're willing to take the plunge, there are a few things to do before you buy and stake the time token. There are a few ways that you can go about doing this and various wallet options that you can choose from. I personally use Trust Wallet. I'm not sponsored or get anything if you do. If you don't have a Trust wallet, I'll place the link in the description below. It's free to download. Once your wallet is set up, you'll need to add a time token to the list of viewable tokens. And so to do that, step 1, click on the icon in the upper right corner. That will bring up the list of available tokens. Step 2 is to type in time in the search bar. Do not select any of the selections that come up initially. Those are all Ethereum-based tokens, and that's definitely not what you're looking for. Now move on to step 3 and click on Add Custom Token at the bottom of the screen. Step 4 is a critical one, and that's going to be changing the network. It's set to Ethereum by default, so click on Ethereum to access the submenu. In step 5, you'll scroll down and select Avalanche C-Chain. In step 6, you'll need to get the contract address, and to do that, you'll go to the coingecko.com website. You'll search for the time token, and under Info, copy the contract address. In step 7, you'll paste the contract address into the window, and if you did it right, it will auto-populate the remaining fields. Then click Save. With that complete, your time token balance will now show up in your wallet once you buy some. This is one of the most common pitfalls people run into, and that the documentation on the Wonderland website does not actually cover. If you buy the time token before setting up your wallet correctly, it'll appear as if you lost your funds. People then panic and seek help on Twitter or other social media, which then leaves them vulnerable to scammers. Don't be them, and never, ever, ever give out the seed phrase you'll receive when you're setting up your Trust wallet. Anyone asking for it is 100% of the time trying to scam you and siphon all your funds. So make sure you complete this step before moving on to part 2 and buying some time. And with that, this completes part 1. Assuming I was as productive as I'd hoped post New Year celebration, part 2 should be posted later today or tomorrow. Don't forget to drop the video a like if you enjoy the content and share with others who you think could benefit from it. For my newcomers, subscribe and don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you don't miss out on part 2 when it drops. The portfolio full year transparency update will drop this Sunday, so come back if you're interested in getting the answer to whether or not my stock portfolio outperformed the market in 2021. Thank you for watching, stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you soon for part 2. Bye now.